Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us for our first Dynamite on the road to All Out and the aftermath, of course, of the last episode that was Fight for the Fallen. So quite a few things, obviously we need to try and tick some storylines along from pay-per-view to pay-per-view. A small note, you won't particularly notice this on the videos, but as you're aware, we need one more region to get to 77 over to get to Titanic, that being closest is Japan. I think it's 5 of the 6 places are like practically there. They're like 76, 75 over, and Shinoku is like 45. So what I've decided to do is I've created an event that will be every single week, and basically the purpose of that is, just gonna run a show there. Got like an AEW Japan brand, and we'll just get popped there every week. So I'm hoping if we can get the over the workers to workers with high enough overness levels, kind of where I'm going there, to work there, then we should hopefully in about 30 weeks get to Titanic. That's the plan, ideally. Obviously that is down to us gaining one each show, but it won't broadcast anywhere. It won't be like on the AEW Live network. It will strictly just be in that region. We'll focus on that. A wee 1 hour show. I've got 6 wrestlers like signed up already. Moved a few across to that brand, and like El Phantasmo is going to go there because he's obviously over in Japan, and we'll see if that works. So I'm hoping that does the business for us. But anyway, we are on with Dynamite. Let's crack on with it. Let's do it. So this week we're at the Blue Cross Arena in Rochester, New York, and we have 14,000 people in attendance. Quite happy with that. Pre-show matches, Ace Austin picks up the win over Marco Stunt with the Aces High. That's a 67. Pretty decent start. Moving further across, we have Tony Storm defeating Daria Bernato in 740 with a strong 0. That's a 63. We had Joey Janela pick up a rare victory over Humberto Garza in 751 with a moonsault foot stomp, 57. And we had the AEW Women's Champion Kairi Hojo defeat Abaddon in 808 with the spear, which was a 67. And in our co-main event, Will Ospreay defeated Luster in 755 with an Oz cutter, 70 makes Will Ospreay look $1,000,000, and with 92 performances makes me wonder why I'm not pushing him more. And the main event was basically to give the recruitment specialists some momentum as they defeated El Lindemann and T-Hawk in 753 with Alex Reynolds pinning El Lindemann. A disappointing 34. Now on to the show itself, and massive surprise here at how poor this done. But obviously have CM Punk and Cody talk about what happened at Fight for the Fallen. Of course, Cody's basically come out to the ring first. He said, I would have won that championship if it wasn't for the interference of a certain commentator. And he basically just says to Punk, get your ass out here. Punk just comes down and says, at the end of the day, remember, you bumped into me, and I treat that as you're disrespecting me, and nobody disrespects CM Punk. And I've been thinking for a while, watching from the commentary booth, could I still hang with you guys? And I think I could. I think I could certainly still prove I'm the best in the world. So Cody Rhodes, if you think you're as good as you are, then I'm opening up a challenge to face you at All Out. Cody doesn't give an answer, and we carry on. 76 though. Ugh. Disappointing. We then had a decent matchup that saw the Dark Orders, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson defeat Austin Creed and Claudio Castagnoli in 11:49 when Evil Uno pinned Austin Creed with a pump handle pile driver. A 71. Great performance, have to be said there, by Stu Grayson with a 72. And are we starting to take the Dark Order a little bit more serious? We then cut to the back and we see Miro making his entrance to Dynamite, and he basically is bumped into by Alex Marvez, and he says to him, I was taken out by 3 men at Fight for the Fallen, but I am still standing. I'm still going to make a case that I am going to get my hands on Hangman Page and every part of his posse, and I am going to become the TNT champion. Just you watch. 69 for that. He then had a pretty good matchup here. Great wrestling, good heat. Tommy End defeats Prince Devitt in 13:39 with the end of the line. 81 here. I felt like we still need to get Tommy End more over, and I don't want him to be capped, so I'm hoping we can break through with a victory over a guy that's a bit more over in the form of Prince Devitt, and also made this the steal the show match of the night because I felt these two would have a very good classic together. After the matchup, he cuts a promo on Chris Jericho, and he says neither of them got the victory at Fight for the Fallen, and he blames Chris Jericho for that. He wants his hands on Chris Jericho one more time. He says, Chris, I'm going to make your life a living hell until you give me that rematch. And that was only a 73. We had an abysmal matchup with Gionna Daddio defeating Penelope Ford in 7:46 with a reverse roundhouse kick. 34 for the rating, again because of pre-show workers, but exposure like this will hopefully get Gionna away from that. We then have a backstage segment where we see Shawn Spears is just walking about on his phone, and out of nowhere Miro gets his hands on him and he absolutely destroys Shawn Spears, and I mean he destroys him, throws him about the place into tables and all the kind of stuff you would see backstage, finds a chair, starts whacking him with a chair, and then hits him in the game over, and Shawn Spears is left completely out cold. I then had a promo with MJF alongside Ricky Starks, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, where we had Wardlow obviously as MJF's manager, so he's there but not shown. He doesn't really need to speak, he's the silent type. And MJF says it was a travesty what happened last night, let's not sugarcoat it, you know, he's going to be out of action for 5 months with a broken freaking neck. But he says he believes the uprising is going to be in a capable position, and he's going to show that, you know, this is a group of guys he can trust and believe in, and with his managerial services can take them forward. So he's obviously talking here about Wardlow, Ricky Starks and Private Party, of course, the returning Isaiah Cassidy. MJF basically, I spoke to him, done a talk to worker, asked him to become manager, more than happy to do so. So he'll be in the corner of Starks, Cassidy, Quinn and Wardlow. Private Party were in action and they took on British Strong Style Moustache Mountain, and they won in 8:59 with Isaiah Cassidy defeating Trent Seven on his return. So pretty good there. A 67, you can see the difference between Quinn and Cassidy's performance purely because Cassidy's been out. MJF doing some good work at ringside while Cassidy is getting better at his gimmick, so good start there for Private Party. I had another promo with Renee Young alongside Lexi and her client Will Hobbs. You can see slowly but surely these segments are getting a little bit more over, but she's continuing to showcase this man is an absolute beast. Don't have an option. Due to time constraints, I couldn't get my match. I need anyway to go to 3 hours, which is bad to say that, but if we keep getting them with promos, it's a slow build there. I think his push will come more out of All Out rather than going into it. We then had a good matchup that saw Miro in action. He took on Pete Dunne and he won in 14:24 by submission with Game Over. This is because of a distraction from the Dark Order's John Silver. 82, Miro with 78, Pete Dunne with 82. This was just a regular matchup. So my thinking here was I want to get Miro closer to Hangman. Pete Dunne is kind of in that kind of bracket of between them, so it was going to elevate Miro. The plan at the moment is to go Dunne, Austin and Styles versus Brody, Silver and Reynolds. And I need to get some exposure onto the Dark Order members to get them into that matchup. So an 82 here, and hopefully I can piss off Pete Dunne to chase down John Silver. Then I had a promo from Samoa Joe, Darby Allin, Will Ospreay and Johnny Gargano. And they said it is a shame, legitimately, what happened to MJF. That is the dark side of wrestling. It happens, injuries are a thing. But they say this war with Uprising isn't over. There's still 4 members of Uprising. There's 4 of them. And they're going to ensure this feud continues on. Because that was the plan before we changed the finish on the fly. So, yeah. Still looking to have a good 8-man tag down the line. But a bit disappointing that obviously MJF is ruled out. So we're guaranteed that highest promo is only going to be 76, so this is going to be quite a poor Dynamite. believe it or not. But Good Brothers cut a promo on the Young Bucks ahead of the main event, and they just say it's going to be weird being in this main event trios match against friends, but the reality is Gallows and Anderson want to prove they're the best tag team in the world. The Bucks are up there, proud and powerful, they've got the belts, and Gallows and Anderson, more than anything, want money, so they want tag team championships to bring alongside the money that comes with it. And thankfully the main event actually done okay, so we might drag ourselves a good rating here. I'll be honest, I did not expect this to be as good as this. Superb matchup. Cody Rhodes and the Good Brothers defeated the Elite, Kenny Omega, Matt and Jackson in 21:48 when Carl Anderson pinned Matt Jackson using underhanded tactics. So a cheat there from Carl Anderson. Doc Gallows was the weak link. You can see there Gallows with 60, Anderson with 71 wasn't too bad. He's actually fairly over at 70. Gallows is a wee bit behind. But yeah, the 86 kind of saves us here. Obviously Kenny and Cody won't be feuding each other, that's fine, but I kind of needed a good main event, and that's what I opted with. The big issue I've got is quite a lot of the programs I've got for All Out are predominantly going to be on Lightning, so that's a wee bit of an issue. So overall, 83, quite shocked by that. As I say, we never really had a strong promo. For the first time in a while, it's the match that carries the show, so an 83 overall, and that increased their popularity in just the 8 regions. But this is another show where once we eventually do go into the AEW Live network, then we'll absolutely be sorted with getting that over in terms of the other regions, because obviously Dynamite will be broadcast there. Best colour commentator in wrestling. Sweet. 3.3. I want to actually quickly check something, so I'm going to go somebody like Kairi Hojo, who obviously their push has fully been on Dynamite. Yeah, you can see it's maybe like a 7 difference from India and Oceania, but she would have had that before she came from WWE. It's trying to think who's predominantly been pushed on the one show where their overness would kind of be. Ricky Starks would be a good shout actually. I think that's how big my roster is. So 60, there you go, 64 in the States, 40 odd in Canada, 60 odd in Mexico, poor in the British Isles, okay in Japan. So you can kind of get an idea of where Dynamite broadcasts and where it doesn't. So there's a lot of places where Ricky Starks maybe isn't over purely because of where Dynamite's shown. Obviously if you're in the AEW Live brand, example being British Sammy Guevara, Samoa Joe, mate. I've seen that. He might have been one that was traded though. But Dynamite's just not broadcast everywhere, so that's the issue with that. But anyway, I've blathered on. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it, 3 thumbs up's appreciated. Let us know how you get on with your own saves and how you're feeling about the rest of the world in general. And hopefully I'll see you for the next episode of Lightning in a few days' time. Take it easy. Bye bye.